Okay. Well, hi, everybody. It's so good to see you all. And if not seeing your faces, then seeing your names on a box on my computer, and just knowing that you're all here. Hi, Jamie.
Hi. No.
All right. So I'm super excited to present this Grow with Google information to you guys. I started teaching these workshops last year, maybe the year before. I was pregnant, so yeah, it was more than a year ago, through Prospera. Prospera got a grant through Google, and we started teaching this all over the state. And so now that that grant has expired and I'm not teaching it through Prospera anymore, I'm really excited to be able to present this information to Sky Oro and beyond. So thanks for being here. We are scheduled today from 5:30 to 7:30. Whenever I do this workshop in person, it normally takes a full 2 hours because there are a lot of questions and password issues and stuff like that. So I'm here till 7:30 if you need it. I have found that whenever I'm teaching a workshop online that used to be in person, it usually goes a little bit faster online. So that's okay too. If at any time throughout this process you have a question, then just pop it on into the chat and I will be sure to answer it. You can send one to me privately by clicking on that blue box there that says everyone in the chat box and changing it to Tessa private. Or you can ask your question to everyone. We're all friends here, right? Okay, yeah. I'm gonna pull up my slides.
And then real quick, for those of you who maybe, I don't know if anybody did not RSVP through our proximity site, we're going to be sending this out, the recording out afterwards. So if you want to chat me your email address, then I can get it sent out to you.
Okay. Hello, I'm Tessa. I know most of you, but for those that don't know me, I own a store downtown called Hattie Rex. It is currently open online only, but we make and sell handmade products, specifically dog tags, jewelry, and the work of other local and regional artists. I also have a small business consultancy called Lightbox. I help businesses sell online and help artists make a living out of doing what they love. So today we're going to talk about getting your business on Google for free. We are going to take a tour of Google My Business, and then we're going to briefly look at Google Trends, Search Console, and Analytics. Now, Search Console and Analytics can get pretty technical and can be very specific depending on the platform on which your website was built. So if you have questions about those, I'm happy to answer. It might end up that I answer your questions after the Zoom because it might be specific to just your business. And one little thing here, let's see, I'm in full screen. How do I want to see the chat.
So if you, on the bottom, if you hover your mouse over the bottom, yeah, you'll see that chat box.
Cool, I want to have that up. That way I can keep an eye on it if anybody has questions. And if I end up like ignoring the question in the chat, then just please interrupt me because I want to make sure I answer your questions. Okay, so why should you have a Google business page? Well, it's to connect with your customers whenever they search on Google search and on Google Maps. So this screenshot here is for my business, Hattie Rex. So whenever you type in Hattie Rex on Google, this is what you likely will see. So over here on the right-hand column, can you guys see my cursor? If I do this?
Yes.
Okay, great, thank you. Over here on the right-hand column, this is how you know if your business or another business has a Google business page, is there will be this section over here on the right. Now, whenever I type in Hattie Rex on Google, I see my business here on the right because I'm searching for it by name. However, if I type in dog tag in Bozeman on my Google business page, I get something that looks a little bit different. So Google knows that I'm looking for dog tags, but they don't know at which store I want to buy them. So the first thing you see here, these are the sponsored links. None of these are by my business. These are people who have paid to have their product show up first on Google. But below that, you see all of these results here on the map. So all of these, Hattie Rex, Petco, and Bozeman animal licenses, these are all of our Google business pages. And another search term that I would like for Hattie Rex to show up for is gift shops in Bozeman. So if I type in gift shops in Bozeman, I get Montana Gift Corral twice, and I get Heyday. I don't show up on here. However, if I were to click more places, then you will see that eventually I show up down here below Shirtworks. And I created these slides while Shirtworks was still in business, or before they became Barefoot. So this is just to show you how many different ways you can show up on Google Business. So you can show up by your name, or you can show up by category. And so the goal is definitely going to be to show up as high as you possibly can for all of the terms that are going to relate to you. Okay, so before I get into the 3 factors that Google considers when ranking your business, I want to first make sure that everybody is eligible for a Google business page. So if you have a storefront that's open to customers, if you're open to customers in the non-pandemic times, then you definitely are eligible for a Google business page. If you don't have a storefront, you still are eligible for a Google business page as long as you meet with your customers in person. So if you sell something online and you never see your customers in person, then you do not need a Google business page. And the reason why is because this is all set up for the user's benefit. So we've all looked for something on Google Maps before, like say you're in another town and you're trying to find the post office. You type in post office and it's going to pull up the post office that's closest to you. And then you can put in the address or maybe the phone number of that place, and you can call or you can visit. It's going to show you the directions, how to get there, and it's going to show you the hours that they're open. And we've all typed in something on Google and gone there, and it has been not open or not at the place that Google said that it would be. And it's frustrating. And you think, well, Google told me that this is where I should go and that you were going to be open. And that is what Google is trying to avoid. So if you do not meet with your customers face to face, then you can still hang out with us today, but you cannot have a Google business page. Does anybody have any questions about whether or not they are eligible? Breezy.
So I am attending this webinar because I'm working on the website for my beloved, which is Cutting Edge Paint and Wallpaper. And we're trying to get him to show up as far as a wallpaper installer. Would that count because he's going to job sites? We don't have a physical location yet.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. And that is a great question. So you don't have to have a physical location. You can put in, you don't have to have your address, your home address listed there either, because that's not something that anybody wants. You can set it up so that it's by appointment only, Laura, and you can set it up so that you can meet your customers at their location. So when we get to that point in the setup process, instead of putting in an address, you are going to put in a service area. And so your address will be hidden. Now, the only obstacle to that, or the only downside to that, is that whenever you go to get verified, which is something that we'll do whenever we're setting up your page, when you get verified, Google is going to send an actual human to your website to make sure that what you're trying to put on your Google business page matches your the website. So make sure on the website that it says, "We come to you, call us to schedule a meeting, click here to schedule an appointment." And now that everything is by appointment, it's okay to do this, but I think it is important to make sure that it's explicit on the website that you do meet with people in person. So, although I think in that industry, Breezy, you can't hang wallpaper virtually, so they are going to, they're going to know. But if it's something more like, like we do, like wedding calligraphy or something like that, like you don't necessarily have to meet with people. It's more of this is the benefit to the user, so that they know where to go and who to talk to.
I might be jumping the gun on this one. So we've already my Google page is already verified, and we sent it to my home address. Is that going to be a problem?
No, you can take your home address off of there.
Okay.
You sent the postcard?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that'll show up, and then you can verify it, and then you can edit it, and you can remove your home address and just put in a service area.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Okay. Anybody else? That might cover it. Okay. I've got the chat up, so just pop your question in the chat if it comes to that. Sorry, I'm trying to move my little pictures. Okay. So this is a big question. How do you get your business to show up higher? Or how do you get your business to show up on Google? So Google is pretty secretive about their algorithm in particular, but they will give you a little bit of information here and there. So the three main factors, at least, that they are willing to share with us that they consider in ranking is proximity, prominence, and relevance. So proximity is the biggest one. Proximity is the distance. And it's the most important one, but it's also the one that you can't really do anything about. That is, how close is your business to the person that's searching? So whenever I type in gift shops in Bozeman and I'm in my shop, then Hattie Rex shows up higher than if I'm on 19th somewhere and I type in gift shops. So you're definitely going to rank higher if someone is closest to you. And if you're thinking about it in terms of the user's experience with it, then that makes sense. If you type in pizza, it's not going to show you a pizza place that's in another state. It's going to show you the pizza place that's really close to you. So keep that in mind. Next is prominence. And prominence relates to how well known your business is. So Google decides how well known your business is by gauging how much time people spend on your Google page and on your website. That's called dwell time. So how long do people dwell on your Google business page, and how long do they dwell on your website? How often do they click on your site or on your page if you're listed as a set of options? And those things all tell Google that you are well known. So the way that you can increase your prominence score is by having content available that people want to see and that people want to interact with. So having photos and videos and engaging content is going to get people staying longer on your site than they would if you didn't have all of that information. So that's how you can increase your prominence score. Another creepy thing to keep in mind is that most of us have location services on our phones. And so even if you're just now setting up your Google business page, if you are, say, a bed and breakfast or something like that, that people have been coming to for a long time, but you're just now setting up your Google business page, Google still knows that people go there because they're creepily looking at everywhere we go. So that's your prominence score, is how well known is your business. And third is relevance. Relevance is going to take into account what are they typing in versus what does your site and your page tell Google that you have to offer. So my website and my Google business page say dog tag a lot. That's one of our main products that we sell is dog tags, and that also is something that has a lower competition level than a gift shop or a jewelry shop. And so if somebody types in dog tag and my Google business page says dog tag, then Google knows it's a match. But if I type in gift shop, there are a lot of other stores that have the word gift shop in their Google business page and on their website. And so one, there's a lot of competition, and two, my page isn't ranking as high for gift shop because I don't have that on my site a lot. And I'm competing against places like Montana Gift Corral and Heyday, which have more traffic than Hattie Rex has. So one of the ways that you can increase your relevance score is by making sure that the words and the keywords and the information that you have on your Google business page match up with what your customers are looking for. And when we get to Google Trends later on in this workshop, I will show you how you can figure out what people are searching for. And also, once you get your Google business page set up, you can check out the insights to see why people or how people are finding your page, what words they're typing in to find you.
Hey, Tessa.
Yes.
Can we go back to the prominence really quick? Can you repeat what you said about Google tracking the location of your phone? And I'm curious because, like, I don't know how many people are ending up on our Sky Oro page, but obviously people spend a lot of time there. Am I understanding it correctly? If Google can see that people are spending a lot of time in our location, then that's also contributing to this?
Yeah. So and they're not coming out and saying this. Like, Google will say, if you're a well-known bed and breakfast that is just now getting a web presence, don't worry, we already know that people are spending time there. Have you ever looked at like I was looking at Costco, trying to call Costco the other day, and at the bottom of their Google business page, it has that little graph and it says like, you very busy, you're not usually busy this time of day. Like, that's how they get that information.
Okay.
Costco's not saying like, oh yeah, we're super busy on Thursdays between 12 and 2. Costco's not telling Google that.
Okay.
So yeah, people for Sky Oro, people are spending a lot of time there, and also if people are clicking on your website, spending time on your website, clicking on your Google business page and spending time there, all of those things are going to contribute to the prominence. And I think for Sky Oro in particular, it's something that most people know. A lot of people know it by name. But once we get to the keywords and those different parts of things, then having like, co-working and networking and those types of words in there could be really beneficial and get you some hits for people who don't know Sky Oro by name, like who are moving to town or who are new here, and don't know that it's something that's available.
Okay.
Yeah, they get creepy.
And cool.
Alrighty. Okay, so let's get your business on Google. So if you go to business.google.com, and Jones. So if you go to business.google.com, we can get you set up. Now, if you already have a Google business page and you're here to learn how to leverage it, which places you should update and all of those types of things, and just go ahead and log in. And I want to spend my time here helping people who are not online yet get there. And once everybody has their page open, then we'll come back together and talk about the areas of your Google business page that we should spend the most time with. So can you guys, let's see, who needs to set their business up for the first time? I'm gonna scroll through the pictures here. Nobody else is on video. Is there anybody who needs to get set up for the first time? Okay. If you've got a baby in your hands or something and you're not able to jump on and say, help me, then I will help you whenever you have your hands free, or you can get on here and chat. So okay, I'm gonna go ahead and move forward, assuming that everybody is already on there. And if I'm wrong, let me know. Okay, this is actually going to be easier. I'm going to change what I'm sharing. And Zoom. New share.
Hey, Tessa, it's Amy. I just had a question for you. Would you mind just going through like a really quick overview of the steps that you take, that you offer to clients when they do get it set up? Because I feel like you know so much about it that there are probably details in like the setup process that a lot of us don't know.
Yeah, so there are, let me see my slides here. So you would click Manage Now if you're setting it up for the first time. And then you're going to sign in with your email address or phone number. And you can, a lot of people don't know this, but you can have any email address be a Google account. It doesn't have to be at Gmail or at, Google or anything like that. So you can have a Yahoo or an AOL or a Hotmail or anything and make it a Google account. By going to accounts.google.com/signup. So you could turn your AOL account into a Google account. So you sign in with your Google account and then you type in the name of your business. Now, sometimes Google is going to autocorrect this, but not always. So if it's already populated, then you would click there and move forward. And if it's not already there, then you just type it in and click next. Now here, this is where you can hide your address if you work out of your house or if you otherwise don't have a place that you want randos showing up at. So you put in your address here, and you have to do this. You have to put in your address or else they're not going to let you move forward. But you check this box if you deliver goods and services to your customers. So for Lightbox, for my consulting business, I work out of my house and I meet with customers at Sky Oro or at their location or at a coffee shop. And so I click this here because I deliver those services to my customers. And then I also would click this box here that says hide my address because it's not a store. So that's how you, you show Google that you're legitimate, but you also say, but keep this private because I don't want people showing up. If you don't have this box clicked, it's gonna kick you back. Okay, and then you're gonna put in your business category. And here in a moment, we're gonna talk a little bit more about categories and how many you should have and what you should put in there. So the categories, you're limited to the categories that Google has available for you. And for those of us who have businesses that are not your run of the mill, you know, if you're not a shoe store or a pharmacy, you might have a hard time finding one that really specifically describes your business. But I always recommend to people that you choose one that is the closest to what you offer from what they have available. And it's really important that you put in a category, because the information that you put into the category is going to create the template that the rest of your Google business page goes from. So if you put in restaurant, then you're going to have the options to put in your menu items. Or if you put in that you are a hair salon, then you're going to have the option to put in your services that you offer and the link for people to book an appointment online. Next, you put in your phone number and your website. And so you're going to put in your phone number, your website. Google Business can create a free website based on your information. So if you do not have a website, this is an option. I'm not going to say it's a good option, because it is a website that is, what do they call that? Artificial, like it just like takes all the information you have on your Google Business page and they just put it into, a web page. And you can change like the colors and things like that, but you can't put content on there, and you can't, do a lot of things. So if you have any other website, don't click this box. Okay. And then next it's going to ask you to verify. Because I'm a Google partner, I can I can help you get verified if you need it. This is going to, if you click these buttons, it's going to send the postcard to your house. If you live in Big Sky, then you're going to have some issues because they won't deliver it to a post office box, but everybody in Big Sky is a post office box. So Big Sky hates Google and Google hates Big Sky. Just kidding. Google doesn't hate Big Sky. So this is how you are going to verify in the workshop. If you needed it, then we click on verify later and we fill out the expedited verification form. So it's pretty easy. It's pretty straightforward. It's a lot easier than it used to be. And Breezy, I'm going to get to your question once we get to the categories, but that's a great question. Okay, so jumping onto the dashboard here. So this is your Google Business page, and yours is going to look different because your business is different. So the home page, this is just kind of like whatever Google thinks that you need to know right now. I'm going to jump over to info, which is that third tab down. I think mine says under review because I marked it as temporarily closed. And I think Google's operating on kind of a skeleton shift here too, which is weird. But we'll go through this as if it were not coronavirus time. And hopefully all of this will be over soon. So I will go ahead and say, like, this is a weird time to be doing a Google Business workshop that's designed to help people come to your place of business, since no one is going to any places of business. So keep these things in mind during the time whenever you are able to open back up. And if you are a person who finds yourself with downtime right now because your business isn't open, then it's a great time to get your Google Business page super populated and up to speed. And then whenever we get into posts, I'll show you how you can create an update specifically related to your business's hours for coronavirus. So here under info, this first category here, this first section here, these are your categories. So when you set the business up for the first time and it asks you for one category, that's the first one that's here. And that's the only one of these categories that's user facing, which means whenever someone goes to my Google Business page, this is the only one that they are going to see. These other ones are here because they are going to help Google know who to match me up with. They're also going to help create the template for the other items that are available to me on my Google business page. So if you notice here, I have gift shop, boutique, art, handcraft, artist, silversmith, wholesale jeweler, souvenir store. None of those are the things, like if you were to ask me like, what's Hattie Rex? I wouldn't say, oh, we're wholesale jewelers and art handcraft. But you can add 10 categories here, and I recommend that you use as many of those as you can. If you can find 10 that apply, then definitely use 10. Like I said, the first one is user facing. So wallpaper installer, you might just have to do like construction, home improvement, home renovation. Did you find one, Breezy, that worked? I can't hear you. I think you're muted.
Sorry. So I found wallpaper as a category, but I was worried that I was going to get lumped into wallpaper wholesalers like Sherwin-Williams and Home Depot. And then having other categories, I didn't actually really think of that. So
yeah, add in more. Wallpaper wholesaler is one of the options.
Yes, isn't that funny?
Yeah, I mean, if somebody, they can buy wallpaper from him, right?
So that's the next phase of the business.
Okay, gotcha.
But I'm thinking like interior design, because people would be like, oh, I could just hire Chris to hang the wallpaper. I don't have to hire an interior designer to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So my concern is, though, that if I were to make those categories so broad that then Google would be like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah, so I would recommend for the first category, the one that's user facing, have it be something that's related to home renovation, and then maybe put the wholesaler and interior design as secondary categories. That way they won't be user facing, but it also will trigger for keywords such as interior design, remodel, wallpaper, things like that. Lorca, yeah, consultant is it's generic. But unless you can find something that is more specific to what you do, then I think keep consultant. Now, keep in mind that you're going to have a lot of other places on your Google business page that you can put in words that you use to describe your business and that your customers would use to describe your business. The categories are really just set up to create the template for the rest of it. So some of them are going to be a stretch, but just try to put in as many as you can. Okay, so moving on down. Sure. You're going to have your address. If you have your address in there right now, but you work from home and you don't want your address in there anymore, then click on the pencil button and delete it. And delete everything. Like delete Montana, delete your zip, delete United States, delete every single thing there, and then it'll let you save it and it'll take it away. It's not going to let you delete just your street address, but not your zip code. So delete it completely, and then you can add in your service area. Now, keep in mind that service area is going to decide where you show up. So even if you would work with a customer from Virginia, for example, you're probably going to have a lot of competition physically, geographically, between here and Virginia. So it might be better to be more specific. Here in Bozeman, there aren't a lot of people who live here in relation to the rest of the country and the rest of the world. And so put in that your service area is Bozeman, is Big Sky, is Livingston, Helena, places that are specific, rather than having it be very broad and Google doesn't know where to send people to. Okay, next are your hours, and these are your regular hours that you're keeping every week on a regular basis. And then below that, these are your special hours. So you can see here that like Back in November of 2018, we were open probably for ladies' night. And then the 22nd was probably Thanksgiving and we were closed. So these are where you're going to put in hours that are outside of the norm of these hours here. Now, unfortunately, you cannot put in a range. You can't say, I'm going to be closed from December 24th until January 2nd. You have to put in each of those days individually. And maybe they will change that. But so far, they haven't. I was going in and updating mine every day. And then I thought, I'm just going to mark it. And sometimes Google will mark yours as temporarily closed due to the coronavirus if you want them to. And I personally kind of debated whether or not I should mark my business as temporarily closed because I didn't want people to think that I had gone out of business or that I wasn't available online. And maybe I'll change my mind on that and say that it's open again because we are open online. But I did this to prevent my customers from wasting a trip and getting here and being disappointed that we were closed. Now, I don't know how many people actually are doing that right now, but delete special hours. Yeah, Jamie, it doesn't. Jamie's asking if you should delete the special hours once those dates have passed. There's not a benefit to keeping past dates on there. This is just, I don't know. I just never went in and deleted them. Customers don't see it. The only place that this is going to show up is if they go to the business and it says the hours for today. So if you've ever looked for something on Thanksgiving or New Year's, sometimes it'll have a big yellow thing and it'll say Christmas might affect these hours. Or alternatively, if you verified, on here, I put in that on Easter the 12th that we were closed. And so if this were a regular world we were living in, then if somebody were to look at my business on Easter, it would say this business is closed and it would say verified by the owner. So you don't need to have any of the past dates on there at all, but it is super helpful to have future dates. Amy, let's see. Yeah, Google is marking businesses as closed, just knowing that a lot of businesses are closed. I'm not sure why they would mark her business as closed because to my knowledge, she doesn't have a physical store. So that's odd, but yeah, you can go in and you can say, no, I'm not closed. You can definitely do that. Let's see, the service areas. There's not a problem with adding in a bunch of towns. As long as they are all places that you would see someone face-to-face in and that you actually are seeing people face-to-face. So, maybe if you had a client that lived in San Francisco, that you would fly out to San Francisco, but that's probably not where the majority of your clients are coming from. If the majority of your clients that you're trying to get are local, then I would put in the service areas where you are actually getting clients and where you're actually wanting to get clients. I just would not put in United States as a whole. I think you need to be more specific than that. Check. Okay. Next, you can put in your phone number. This is your short name that you can use to make it easier to get reviews, which we will talk about here in a little bit. Let's see. All right, Laura, seeing patients remotely. Laura, do you always see patients remotely or just right now? Probably just right now, right? Always and right now. So Laura, if you don't ever see your clients face-to-face, then you might not be able to get verified on Google Business unless your website indicates that you are available to meet people in person. You do see people face to face normally. Okay. Yeah. So I would keep it with your service area being where you normally would see people face to face if they wanted to. I mean, you could make it, you could expand it and make it more broad, but I think that there are other ways that you are going to get clients from out of the state or out of the area without them searching on Google and finding you in the search and maps. Yeah, I would list Bozeman. And you might be able to, also list Belgrade and also list Livingston or Helena or places like that you would see. But yeah, I would list specific towns. Okay. Let me go back here. So moving on down on your info tab, you can add or edit your products. Now, this is something new that Google Business did not have a couple weeks ago. You can put your products there, and whenever you do that, you can link to your website where people can buy your products if that's something that you have available. Now, depending on which categories you put up here, you might not have something that says products. So those templates are going to dictate which options you have down here. So I put in them a gift shop, so they say, oh, I bet she has products. Now, if you are a restaurant, then you might have an option that says menu, where you could upload your menu, for example. So you can put your products in there. It does give me the option to put in services. And these are based, again, on those categories that I put up at the top. Breezy, it doesn't matter. The only one that really matters is the very first one. So as long as your first one is your primary, then the other ones can be in any order whatsoever. So these are going to be populated by your categories. And then under there, you can put in services under there. So let's say that you are a spa. Then you can have in here massage, 90-minute massage, 60-minute massage, prenatal massage, couples massage, and list your different products or services there. Now, I would recommend on this and other things on Google, if they give you the option for, how many characters do they give you? Then create your own. This is definitely a place where you want to have a lot of information, because the more words you have on here, then the greater chance you have to match up with something that someone is typing in. So I could also put on here, instead of ID tags, maybe I would also put like pet tags or personalized jewelry. I could do mother's jewelry or initial pendants or Montana necklaces. So get specific on here, especially if it's something that's a major offering of yours, and especially if it's something that you're offering that other people aren't. Okay, so one weird little thing here is I got to services based on the info tab, and then it brings you down here to services. So I'm gonna go back to this info tab. Okay, now accessibility and the attributes. So sometimes they call this highlight. I feel like they change it every week. Sometimes they call it highlights and sometimes they call it attributes. Do we get to Lurk asked? So we get to add products for every category. Under the products, let's jump in here. Yeah, so you can add, I just added in necklace and then added in one. You can add in your products. Google wants you to add 3 categories with 5 products each. So yeah, if you have the time to put in here as many things as you have, that's only going to help your rankings and help with that, with the relevance of people typing in exactly what they're looking for. So yeah, populate it as much as you can. Okay. So the attributes, now this has changed. So if you've already updated your Google business page in the last month, jump on here and do it again, because they've given you some new options in light of the coronavirus. So, and again, some of you, depending on the categories that you have listed, are going to have some of these as options, and others of you are not going to have some of these are options. So yours are going to look different than mine. So it's asking me for if I'm wheelchair accessible, if we have gift wrapping, which we do, Wi-Fi. This just showed up last week, dining options. We're not a restaurant. Nothing on here says we're a restaurant, but I said that we do deliver because we do. Veteran-led or women-led. And then if you're offering, these are the things that are new, the in-store pickup or the same-day delivery. You can add those there. You can add in the credit cards. NFC mobile payments is near field communications. This is your Apple Pay and your Google Pay and the things that you don't have to swipe or tap, or I'm sorry, you don't have to swipe or use the chip. This is whenever you can just hold your phone close to the thing and take that payment. I don't know why LGBTQ is under planning. I guess if you're just planning where you can go. But we are friendly. So you add that on there. And check back.
Okay, sorry, really quickly, sorry.
Yeah.
Maybe unkind question. With the LGBTQ friendly thing, like sometimes some of Chris's customers are a little conservo. Is that going to pop up on the page? Like if somebody's Googling and they're like, I don't know.
It's not, let me show you what it looks like on mine. You can always Google what it looks like over here. So this is something that shows up just for me because I'm logged in under that account. But otherwise, this is what my customers are going to see as the spot over here. So if you scroll down, is it even user facing?
Only because I don't love these people's business, but sometimes
Yeah.
some of those people love wallpaper.
So I think in that case, so Hattie Rex is a store that people are going to come into. And so for me, I want them to know that they're going to feel welcome here. Whereas with Chris, he's going into their house. So if they're not friendly to people that are different, then it's not going to matter to them unless he's someone that triggers them.
Yeah.
So I think it's okay to leave it off of there. I think that question is definitely going to be more relevant for places that are welcoming customers into their establishment. And looking at it on here, it's not user facing at all. So
I have to Google like LGBTQ friendly store gift shops or something like that. And then,
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's not to say that it would never show up. It's just, it's not showing up all of the time.
Yeah, because I could just see that popping up and someone being like, "Oh, this guy's one of those." You know what I'm saying? I just I don't ever want to, especially like the construction industry is so conservative,
right?
But I just if it was like the first thing that popped up, I would be like, "Oh, I don't know if I want to check that." But of course, check it because it's
right. Yeah. I think it's okay to leave that off of there because it's not necessarily gonna. It's not really going to matter, I guess. I guess it's nice that they don't say are you LGBTQ friendly? And you have to answer yes or no. It just gives you the option to say yes. Yes, we are. Let me add this. Okay, so let me get back over here. Okay, so after you've added in your attributes and your highlights, Next is your description. Now, they give you the option to add up to 750 characters for your business description. So this is a spot where you can put in all of the words, all of the specific words that you want to show up for. So this is where you're going to put in wallpaper installing and things like that. This is where you don't have to follow a template. You get to put in anything that you want. Now, as you learn more about how you're showing up on Google Business and you identify your keywords, you're going to want to make sure that this is full of keywords. Now, you don't want to stuff it. You don't want it to be where it doesn't sound like something you would actually say or write. You don't want to put in like dog tags, pet tags, dog tags. But I did use those terms in here quite a bit. Because we are a store that sells things, I did put in specific titles of items or specific names of products that we offer. Because if somebody's looking for a tie clip, I want to show up for that. And if I just put in men's accessories, that's not going to match. So this is a great spot to get really specific on your offerings that you have that no one else has, or your offerings that you have that people are certainly looking for. Okay, and use as many characters as you can. Okay, add photos is going to drop you down over here to photos, so we'll get there in a minute. If you decide, if your business is marked as closed due to the coronavirus and you want to open it up again, then you're going to do this over here. If for some reason you decide to close your store or you sell your business, then you can also close it over here. There'll be that option there for you. Okay, and then the last thing I want to talk about on this page are the labels. So whereas the categories have to be chosen by Google, you choose the one that Google gives you. Labels is where you can put in what you call your business. So if you didn't see categories that matched something that you were comfortable with, then put labels in. You can add 10, and I recommend adding as many as you can. Add all 10. Okay, moving on down to the next tab is Insights. Now, if you're just now setting up your Google business page or you've done it recently, then you're not going to have a lot of data on your Insights yet. But check back because you will be getting more and more. So these are the words that people typed into Google that resulted in them finding my business on Google. Now the top one is mask. Mask was not my top hit a month ago. The reason I'm showing up for mask now is not because I'm selling masks, although I will be soon. I've got an artist who's going to start selling masks, but I have an artist whose last name is Mask. Nick Mask from Six Finger Studios is resulting in a lot of hits for me that probably result in people being disappointed that they can't buy a mask at Hattie Rex. But below that, you will see other things that do apply to my business and that are relevant to people showing up here. Sometimes you're going to find things that are really random and you might not know how it showed up. Like bridesmaids dresses. We don't sell bridesmaids dresses, but we do sell jewelry for bridesmaids. Puppies for sale in Bozeman. So yeah, check that out. See what people are looking for there. And there probably will be some sort of distant relationship between something you have on your page and this word, like mask. Next in the insights is how customers find your business. So the majority of my businesses are finding me because they're looking for a product or a category. So they're probably searching for, let's see, what did it say? Shopping in Bozeman, jewelry stores, bolo ties, Bozeman shopping, dog stores. They're looking for things like that. The green, these are people who are looking for Hattie Rex in particular, like looking at it by name. Okay, and then this shows you where they're finding me. So some of us are finding on search, fewer on maps, And then this is telling you what actions people are taking. So do they visit, do they look for directions, or do they call? Okay. Next. Reviews. So reviews are super important on Google Business. If you do not yet have any reviews on your Google Business page, then your homework is to get some. And the best way to get reviews on Google Business is to ask. So depending on your business, it's not always going to be a one-size-fits-all method to try and get reviews. So at Hattie Rex, we help people who, in general, come into our retail store. And sometimes we have their email address or their phone number, and other times they come in, they pay with cash, or they opt not to sign up for our email list, and we don't have their information. So what we do, because we service multiple people every day, and it doesn't make sense for us to call them individually and ask, we have it set up as part of our email marketing automation, is that after they have purchased, I think it's after they've made 2 purchases from us, then they get an email that asks them to write a review. And in exchange, we offer an incentive. Now, it is illegal to offer an incentive in exchange for a 5-star review or in exchange for a specific review. So you can't say, I'll give you a free sandwich if you give me a 5-star review. But you can say, I'll give you a free sandwich if you write me a review. So adding it into your email marketing automation or your text message marketing automation is a great idea if that makes sense for your business. If your business is something where you are working with people more one-on-one for a longer period of time and you're developing more of a relationship with that person, then it might be more appropriate for you to ask them individually, either probably by email. So let's say that you are a wedding planner and you work with a couple for 16 months or something like that prior to their wedding. And then after the wedding is over, as you're wrapping up, that's a great time to say, I'm so happy that you are pleased with my services. Would you please write me a Google review? And usually, well, not usually, sometimes it's going to result in a yes. If you ever get an email from somebody where they write you to tell you how pleased they are with your product or service, then in addition to saying thank you so much, you can ask them, would you mind copying, pasting that, and putting it on my Google Business review? And you can let them know how it would make a big difference for your business, and usually people are really happy to do that. Another way that I personally have gotten reviews is if you are working, if you're a B2B business, so if your customers are businesses, then write a review on their page before you ask for one on your own. And that usually, that's the one that I do that gets the greatest results. So if I write a review for somebody else's Google Business page, then they almost always, or maybe always, will turn around and write one to reciprocate that gesture. Now, if you're a restaurant or you're in a place where you really don't have an email address, nor do you have the long-standing relationship like a wedding planner or something like that would have, then another way that you can create awareness around it is just by having some signage up in your establishment. So we've all seen those reviews that say, or those stickers that say people love us on Yelp. And it makes me, for example, want to look on Yelp and see like, well, is there something I missed? Like maybe they have great pancakes and everybody on Yelp says get the pancakes and I got the omelet. Or it just makes you want to add to that. It's kind of the same concept of if you go to a food court and there's a huge long line at one place and there's nobody in line at the other place, you're probably not going to go to the place that has nobody there, even if the food, who knows how good the food is. The people attract people. So you're probably going to want to stand in line behind all the other people because they obviously know something that you want to find out. So just letting people know that you're active on Google Business, that you have reviews on Google Business can help them get that idea to do that. One way that you can ask for reviews really easily is on your home page or your home of your Google business. Sometimes it puts it here. Yeah, so here's this get more reviews form. Some of you may have this, some of you may not, but you can click this share review form and it gives you a link to copy that you can then easily put into an email or into a Facebook post, and you can ask people that way. Alternatively, you can search for your business and then go as if you were going to write a review for your own business. And if I hadn't already reviewed my own business, then this would say write a review. And so you click that and then copy this URL up here in the menu bar, and you can give them that. You might want to embed it and say review on Google and put the link within the text. So you're not giving them this huge long thing, but make it easy for people. If you're already asking them to take time out of their day to write about their experience on Google, don't make them have to type in your business and do a couple clicks. It makes a big difference. It's like the easiest, what is it, the term they say? Like you want people to just take like the next step, just the next step. You don't want to ask somebody to do a 10-step process. Also, reply to your reviews. If you can, it's a great idea to reply to your reviews within 24 hours of receiving them. And replying to reviews can do a lot of great things. It's letting your customers know that you care about them. It's letting other customers know that you care about them. And it's a great spot to put in some keywords to boost your SEO. So if everybody writes a review and says, great breakfast, the waffles were amazing, and in your reviews you have the word waffles 10 times, then Google is going to be like, I'm guessing they got some pretty good waffles. And when somebody types in best waffles in Bozeman, your business is going to show up. So whenever you reply to reviews, don't just say thanks. Get specific, put in your keywords, invite them to come back. Okay. Yes, I agree. Okay, photos. Spend some time. Let's see, I'm gonna read what Allison said. Google reviews were turned off at the end of March due to COVID. Okay, Allison, thank you. That's good to know. I know they've limited all of the different functionality. That's interesting, to protect against bad reviews. Okay, so that's good to know. It might be a good thing to push out after things are back open, or to ask people to write one right now, and then it will be displayed once they're back up and running again. Thank you for sharing that, Allison. Okay, so your pictures, this can really increase the amount of time that people spend on your page if you have pictures there for people to look through. So I would encourage you to have pictures of the outside of your space so that people can identify the building whenever they are looking for it driving up. Have pictures of the inside of the space so people kind of can get a feeling for what it's like and what type of business you are. If you sell products, then make sure you have a few pictures of your products, and make sure you have some pictures of your staff. And if it's just you, make sure that there's a photo of you on there. Okay, and it will kind of break them into these categories for you. Yeah, so Amy has a good tip in there, sending people to your reviews using that short name that's in your info tab. Let me jump back over there to find. So this is the short name. So mine says @HattieRex. You can send them to your page using that. You might not have the option for a short name depending on your business. But if you do have that, then that's a great way and pretty easy to remember to get them there as well. Okay. Photos. So you can see some of these are getting quite a few views. Like this one has like over 5,000 views. So people look at these and you might think like, I don't ever look at them. But somebody does, somebody's looking at them, and it definitely helps people understand what your business is like. One thing that you can do that would be really helpful to your users once they're able to visit your place of business again is, in addition to having that exterior photo, also put in photos of where they should park. If now that I'm downtown, if I put in a photo of the parking garage or the parking lot that's 3 blocks that way, I could put in a little video that shows, you just park there and then you walk up here and here we are on the right. Or Prospera, if any of you have ever been to that location, that place is like a maze and everything looks the same back there. So, so I created a video that shows, like, from Durston how you can get there and what the outside of the building looks like. So that way, whenever people are trying to find it, they're not driving around that little maze back there where all of the businesses look the same and theirs is like tucked back in the corner. So if that applies to your business, then you want to make sure that you're making it really easy for your customers. Laura asked, do you label the photos? They change this from time to time. Sometimes they will ask you if you want to put a caption on it. They used to do that, and then they stopped and they decided where it would go. So let me add a photo and we'll see. Thanks, Amy. Yeah, I was pretty pleased with myself. Okay, so I'm gonna put up this photo and let's see what it asked me to do. Because they change this stuff all the time. It makes it kind of challenging to like do workshops on it because they change it every day. So yeah, so they didn't ask me anything. I can go here to this little info tab. And yeah, so it does give me categories. So this is a product. And so yeah, it lets me label it. But on mine, at least, it's not letting me put a title or anything on it. Also, if your customers upload photos, you can't do anything about that. Laura asked if you're showing parking, how do they know that? You would label it as exterior. And also having that there, you can also link it on your page. So if somebody is like, how do I find you? You can easily send them that photo or that video and say, like, here's a video. It shows what it looks like. Hey, yeah, so these are customer photos that other people have uploaded. And then we have these 360s. That was a long time ago, but where you can like look around and see what it's like. The store doesn't really look like that anymore, but it's pretty cool. And having stuff like that on there is definitely going to help people. It's going to help increase your dwell time, which is going to increase your prominence score. Okay, one thing that everyone should do is make sure that you have someone else listed as a user on your Google business page. And ideally, this should not be someone who is an employee. It's okay to have an employee, but if you have an employee listed, then also list your mother or your spouse or someone that you are going to have a long relationship with, like forever. And that's because if you ever, for some reason, forget your email address or your password, you want to have somebody else that can help you get in there. Because if you aren't able to get in there, it can be really frustrating, and Google is going to be hard to deal with. Tim Lewis is not my spouse. He's the person who did the 360 photos for us. And if I were logged in under Hattie Rex and not Tessa Whitmer, then I would be able to delete him. On mine, it gives me a limit of 3. Those are going to be different. If you still have people available, it's going to have a little person with a plus sign up here so that you can add more people. So make sure that you add that. Okay, and the last thing I want to talk about within Google Business, oh my gosh, it's 6:45 already? That's crazy. Time flies when you're talking to a computer. So the last thing I want to talk about is posts. Now, posts are kind of Google's answer to social media. So some of you may remember Google Plus back in the day, rest in peace. And nobody used it, which is why they got rid of it. And so Google was like, well, fine, if nobody wants to play my social media game, then we're just going to force everybody to do it and do it on our own. So they created these posts. Now, where posts are going to show up is on the Google Business page at the bottom. So this is my my coronavirus update, is this one here. So this one isn't usually here. Usually it's just the offer, the product, the update, and the event. And the COVID-19 is, is time specific. So normally posts last for 7 days, except for an event. So unlike Facebook or Instagram, where it's going to benefit your exposure to post all the time, on Google, you really only need to post once a week, because it expires after 7 days, and only one of them is going to show up at a time anyway. If it's an event, it's going to stay up there until the event is over. Now, on all of your Google posts, you have the option to put in a call to action button, and I absolutely recommend taking advantage of that. So here you put in your photos or videos, your offer title, if you're going to be offering a coupon or buy one, get one free or something to that effect. If it's time specific, you can put in a time, or otherwise just a start date and an end date. If you click add more details, it's going to give you the option to put in a coupon code, a link to redeem the offer if it is a coupon code, or if you want to send them to your website. And the call to action for an offer is always going to be to get the offer, to get the coupon, or to get the discount. Now, if you put in a product, it's going to show up both as a post, and it's also going to show up under the products tab, where you saw I just had that one necklace. Adding one here is also going to add it over there. In fact, I'm not really sure why they have it under post. It didn't used to be that way. What's new is just kind of an update. Like, we got this new shipment in, or we have new things going on. Here's where you can add the button. And after you add the button, it's going to give you a link for your button's destination. And lastly, event. It can give you details and the option for them to buy tickets online. So it's better to spend 5 minutes a week on your Google Business page than it is to spend 20 minutes a month. And that's because of the relevance score. Google wants to know that the information that you have is up to date. And up to date to Google means today or 5 minutes ago. And if you're only getting on there once a month, then there might be something that changed. I mean, our whole planet changed in the last month. So if you haven't updated your Google Business page in the last month, it's a great time to do that. And if you're spending 5 minutes a week on your Google Business page, creating a post is a great way to spend that time. You also might want to pop into your insights and see if suddenly you should start selling masks or something like that. Like if there's something people are looking for that you're not offering, or to just check and see what's new. Now, one thing I definitely would recommend is to go ahead and add in your COVID-19 update. It doesn't let you add in an image on this one, but it does let you put in a button. So on mine, it just says, we're doing free shipping, free delivery, and you can still shop online. If your business is completely still operational and everything is going as if this were March 1st, then put that in there. Let people know, like, we're open for business. Maybe let them know what extra cleaning procedures you have in place, or other amenities that are going to be specific to this pandemic. So make sure you utilize that. Okay, I think that really covers everything for Google Business. I'd like to talk about Google Trends next, but I wanted to check and see if there are any questions before we move on. Or anybody have anything to add? Does anybody have anything that shows up on yours that doesn't show up on anybody else's? It's such a weird thing how those categories really dictate what options you have available.
So going back to the whole like wallpaper install, or like going back and editing those categories and things like that, I'm really finding that it's such a, like, all the verbiage on my website is very niche, and I need to go in and like make those changes so that it kind of fits more in with maybe what people are looking for. And not that like Google should dictate my copy, but it shouldn't like be a blocker for it. It shouldn't be like a big wall that it hits.
Yeah, and that's something that Google Trends can really help you with, is that in our businesses we get so like we're in this fishbowl, and like we know what it's like in the fishbowl, you know, like, but we don't think about like, oh, I'm in a fishbowl. There's water and there's plants and there's rocks, because it's just our environment, you know, like we wouldn't say like, oh yeah, there's oxygen in here. Because it's something we're so close to it that we don't have another word for it. So it can be really helpful to use Google Trends, and also to just ask somebody, like, what would you call this? What would you, like, this is what my business is. What would you call this? Or what would you be looking for? For example, we at Hattie Rex, we make dog tags, and we used to get a lot of people who would write us and say, can my cat wear this tag? Or can my ferret, or can my rabbit, or can my horse wear this tag? And our answer is always yes. And so for a while, I decided to start calling them pet tags, because I wanted to be inclusive of rabbits and cats and ferrets and things like that. And whenever you look at Google Trends and you compare pet tags to dog tags, nobody's searching for pet tags. So in my effort to be inclusive, I was missing a lot of the traffic that I would have gotten if I had just put it in what other people called it. Another example, I built a website for a company that creates skincare for mature women. And she didn't want to call it anti-aging because she just had that was like the antithesis of her brand, is like, it's not anti-aging, it's embracing aging. But nobody's typing in embracing aging skincare. Everybody's typing in anti-aging. And so I just put in those types of terms in places that weren't necessarily user facing, like in the alt tags and other SEO types of places. But it's really important to your business and to your marketing strategy to know what other people call your business. So that's a great question, a great segue into Google Trends. Yeah, Amy, I heard about that, about Gallatin Shopping Guide, that it just showed up. So there are, I'm trying to remember what happened. There are certain things that you're not allowed to sell. And if something on there triggered one of those like no-nos, then they can take you off of there. And I actually tried to help them out and tried to get them in touch. I don't know if they were back on there or not. But they reached out and I tried to get them in touch with the Google people. Google used to have a phone number. And then they stopped having a phone number. It was mostly just a number to call while you were on hold anyway. Trying to add services and nothing is showing up. Laura, do you have, or try adding in some categories and see if that, so the categories should populate your services, unless it's just not updating. Another thing about your Google business page is it can take a while for the edits that you put on there to show up. It's not an immediate live thing, so it might take a few days. Okay, so let's check out Google Trends. So if you go to trends.google.com, this is going to show you, it's basically a ratio of how popular is one search term in relation to all of the possible search terms. And you can use this in a lot of different ways. So you could use it to see, for example, where in the world people are searching for the World Cup the most. Or you could use it to compare a couple things, like Taylor Swift versus Kim Kardashian. Okay, or we can use this to type in pet tags. And then I'll add in another one here, dog tags. So you'll see I was missing a ton of traffic by using the term pet tags because most people type in dog tags. Now keep in mind that when somebody's searching for dog tags, they might also be searching for military tags, military dog tags that you wear if you are in the service. So, so keep in mind that these aren't always going to be the terms that you're looking for. If you guys know Deborah Dunham, she does massage at home. She comes to your house and gives you a massage. She's awesome. And we were looking at this and she was typing in like massage at home and mobile massage. And we found down here that in Alabama, mobile massage was like everybody was searching for mobile massage. And I was like, what's going on in Alabama? And then like 2 days later, I woke up in the middle of the night and I was like, oh, it's Mobile, Alabama that they're looking for the massages for. So there can be kind of, things like that too, that like, just because it's what you're thinking doesn't mean it's what they're typing in. But this tool can be really insightful for you to look and see where people have more of an interest if you're looking for this on a national level, or to compare two terms to see which one you should be using. So this also, the related queries can give you a lot of helpful information. I don't know what I'm going to be searching for after this is Tarkov, because I don't know what that is, but apparently people are searching for dog tags Tarkov. And so that's something that I may or may not need to know. You also can search for these things over time. So this is in the United States for the past 12 months. I could look for, looks like the last 16 years and see that there was a really big spike. Let's see, October 2011. So right after 9/11, people were looking for dog tags, probably not the type of dog tags that I offer. But this can be helpful if you're looking at like a new product or service and you want to know, is this on the rise for a trend or is this not? So like if you look at fidget spinners history from 2004 until the present, if you were thinking about selling fidget spinners right here in February of 2017, then you were onto something. But if you waited to start selling them until August of that year, then you're probably not selling a lot of fidget spinners anymore. So this can be a really helpful tool. One, to see what's trending, what's going on, and two, to compare what you're calling something to what somebody else is calling something. Questions about this, or does anybody want to take advantage of having a friendly crowd here to give you suggestions on what words you might try out? Breezy? Yeah, so thinking about wallpaper?
So I just did it and I hit wallpaper, and what was showing was like wallpaper for your iPhone.
Okay. That kind of tells me that it could be a good lead magnet for your company if you're trying to get email addresses and stuff. If you're building a list, then offer some iPhone wallpapers. But yeah, I mean, I think everybody has an iPhone, but not everybody has wallpaper. So that's really interesting. Are the clients that he's getting often coming from word of mouth referrals, or is he getting them online?
So I just developed this website in November. I would say all of his business has been referral based, but what's weird is that he's been getting referrals from these really large design companies out of state. So I don't necessarily know they'll call him. So I don't, but like he's not really showing up on like Google searches. So I don't know how they're finding him.
Yeah, that's interesting. And I think that's a good point to make, is that it's super important to have your business listed on Google, but it's not always going to be the way that you find most of your customers. You know, depending on what your business is. A lot of businesses get a lot of their customers from referral. I get a lot of my customers because people walk by. And so where it's important to have the Google business page is that it's going to show validity and increase trust. It's going to let your customers know that like this is a real business. They have a Google business page. Here's their phone number, their website, their address, or their service area, and their reviews. That can be really huge. So, so for some of you, this is more of a must-have rather than a traffic generator. But that's not to say that once you have this website up and going and you have the Google business page going, that people won't find him based on that.
So what I want to make sure is that truly these days in Bozeman, Chris is the only guy that actually does wallpaper. And so I know that a lot of people like on Secret Bozeman or Ask Bozeman, like, who does wallpaper? So I know there's people looking for them, but it's just, there's not a lot of people in town that do that. So I just want to make sure that he pops up.
Yeah. Yeah. And it can take a little while, you know, after you've published the website, and pushed it out to, did you set up your Google Search Console and that? So if you set up Google Search Console, that's going to tell Google like, hey, we've got some wallpaper action going on here, and it's going to take a little bit for it to get going, but don't lose sight of it, because it will come up there, and especially if there's not a lot of competition, that's a massive advantage. But yeah, let's type in.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Wallpaper installation, wallpaper installer, basically the same. Oh, let me catch up on the chat real quick. Yeah, Lorca, I agree. I think what you're looking for is something like Lorca, you're in a business where people don't know that they need you. You know, it's, I think one thing that you could do is type in like, what types of things do you help people with? And what issues are they struggling with? Whenever Karen Lum took this Google workshop, you know, she was thinking about like, employee retention and management training, and people might not be typing in employee retention. They might be typing in, why do my employees always quit?
Ask Daddy.
Or, you know, they might be typing in, like, why do I hate my job, or something like that. So people definitely type into Google like it's like a friend that they're texting, which is kind of weird, but people will type in like, why is my blah, 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 or how do I blah, blah, blah. They're not just typing in like the noun that they're looking for. So, so yeah, I think it's a great idea to ask people especially people who have worked with you and who know your business intimately, to say, what was this like for you, or what would you call it? The team from Buffalo Restoration took this workshop, and they call it water mitigation whenever they come and they take water out of your house after your pipes burst. But nobody calls it water mitigation. Nobody's typing in water mitigation Bozeman. People are typing in water damage. And so changing that little term on your website can help you really connect with people, because Google's smart, but it's not smart enough to know that water mitigation and water damage are the same thing. Okay. Other questions, you guys? It's 7:04. I wanted to show you. So Google Analytics and Google Search Console are two tools that if you want to take this a step further, these are great things for you to take a look at. So Google Analytics is going to show you how users interact with your website. So if you log into your Google Analytics, it's going to show you how many people are coming to your website, the path that they take once they get to your site, where they're coming from, how long they're spending there. On the other hand, Google Search Console tells you about the relationship that Google has with your website. So Google Search Console is going to talk to you about any errors that you have on your page, or it's going to tell you how many of your pages are indexed and being read by Google. So those two things, they're a little bit more technical. Neither one of them are things that you guys couldn't, get set up on your own. But I don't get into it a ton here because it's one of those things that just kind of makes people's heads spin. And let's see. Yeah, so here you can see audience. So who your customers are. Being pretty slow. Yeah, so who your customers are, if they're new or if they're returning, what language they speak. Depending on the platform upon which your website is built, you may have easier to read analytics on that platform. So I use and build Shopify, and they have some pretty good analytics that tell me where things are coming from and which of my marketing campaigns are contributing to that traffic. So this is a great tool. It can be a little bit much depending on your level of data love. Behavior can tell you what customers are doing once they get on your site. So this one, I like going to this one because it tells you how people find you, or where they go when they get to your site, and then where they go next. So spend a little time on there and check things out. It can give you some good insight into your business. Yeah, so analytics is how users interact with your website. Search Console is how Google interacts with your website. Both are important, but if your Google can't interact with your website, then your users aren't going to have as easy of a time if they're able to access it at all. So this tells me basically I've got 2 pages with errors, and I have 1,300 pages that are valid. If that were the reverse, I'd have a problem. And yeah, this all can get really technical. So what questions do you guys have? Yeah, Amanda, I second that. I was like, Lorca needs to be like all over this coronavirus situation. I hope to see more out of you, Lorca. Although maybe you're super busy with private clients and things like that. I hope so. Okay, what questions do you guys have? What do you want to talk about?
Tessa, I have a client that on her Google My Business, it has her Facebook page and I think her LinkedIn, but not her Instagram. And is there an easy way to I've researched it a little bit, and supposedly after time, Google's just supposed to discover it. But is there a way to get that added onto your?
No, I think your research is correct. It's just that's just Google crawling all over the internet and saying, okay, this name is the same as this name. I'm going to put this on here. They just do what they want. So no, you can't. Like I wouldn't, if somebody was like, what channels are you on? I wouldn't say YouTube because I've got like 2 videos on there. But probably because it's probably one, because they're Hattie Rex. There's not a lot of companies called Hattie Rex. And 2, just because we've been around for a while. I think that has helped this page kind of come up. But no, these things just show up, and the only thing you can do really is make sure that the name is consistent on all of those platforms, and make sure that you're active on all of those platforms. And it kind of sucks. Like I've worked with a real estate agent who her business name is her name. And then her personal Facebook profile was linking on her Google business page. And I sent her to, the Google help number because that existed then. But it basically is just the algorithm pulling in things that match. So it is a good thing to have. Once it shows up there, it's great. Mine, yeah, it has like reviews from Etsy and reviews from Facebook. So this is basically just Google trying to be relevant and like taking in all of the stuff and being like, we're Google, we're going to do whatever we want and show everything. So yeah, just tell her to keep Instagramming.
Okay, thanks.
I'm going to answer a couple of questions here privately. Alrighty. If you have a direct competitor, okay. Yeah, if you have a competitor and you know that they are doing something that is good, I mean, take a look at their page, see what words they're using. That might give you good ideas for words that you're using that you're not quite using. Getting a little bit deeper, there are tools that you can use to look and see where they are advertising. If they are advertising, I don't know if they are. But yeah, you can do that, and otherwise just differentiate your business from theirs, and that way you find your customers and their customers find theirs. But I think it's a great idea to take a peek and see.
So for me, with the other place in town, I find that they tend to copy my marketing and they tend to copy my website copy. And so I just want to make sure that we've been open longer. We were the first one. So I always want to make sure that we're up top. And because there tends to be a little bit of content sharing, that I just don't want to, I want to make sure that like we still stay up there.
Yeah. And that, I mean, that sucks, Breezy. I'm sorry that they're doing that. And it's, what do they say? Imitation is the purest form of flattery.
Totally.
But I think, speaking from my experience with people copying like dog tag designs and jewelry designs and stuff, there's definitely been times in my life whenever I've spent a lot of energy, put a lot of energy toward how do I stop this? And you can't. I mean, you could get an attorney and spend a ton of money and energy on it and have them like not copy your words anymore. But probably a better use of your energy is keep differentiating yourself and moving forward. Like keep being better and that way they're always playing catch up. But yeah, I'm sorry. It's a bummer. I guess you could reach out and like in a friendly way say like, hey, so I've noticed this.
Well, I think that, like you said, like imitation is like the highest form of flattery. And also, I don't put myself in the same category as that other business. And so for me to like have that conversation, I don't know, just would show that I maybe am putting more effort into that than I really actually am. It's just something that I happen to notice. But it's just like, I just always want to make sure that like what I'm doing is I'm doing the right thing to make sure that I'm coming out on top.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. And it's kind of a taking the high road, and also a making sure that your customer service is better, your facility is cleaner, your, you know, like all of those different things that make a difference. Putting your effort into those areas rather than focusing on the negative. You know, putting your attention on the things you can control versus things that you can't. So yeah, that's really all you can do. All right. What else? Other questions, you guys? Okay. Well, if there's anything else, I'll stay on here for a couple minutes, and so you can shoot me a message privately, or just unmute yourself, speak up. But otherwise, that's really all the content that I have for you guys. I'm here to answer any questions you have, or reach out afterwards. Tessa@lightboxbusiness.com, and I'm here for you. Thanks for listening to me blabble for 2 hours.
Thanks so much, Tessa. That was awesome.
Yeah, Tessa, thank you. That was super helpful.
Thanks,
So
guys.
for everyone on here, we'll send out the recording, and if you need anybody's contact information for follow-up, let me know, and I can provide it. And thank you all. Have a good night.
Alrighty.
Tessa, I had one more question if you're still available.
Yeah, I am.
You were talking about Facebook and Instagram, and my Facebook is on there, but Instagram is not. So it sounded like you just said, keep trying and hopefully it shows up.
Yeah.
And that being said, then on the events page, it shared an event from Facebook that I thought was private, and it's showing up on the page. And I'm just curious, did they mine that from like conversation that went on, or is there some setting that I need to change?
Did you check on your Facebook event to see if it is private?
Yeah, because it was within a group, and I was positive that was private. So I'm going to double check all that. But I just wondered, is there a way that I can get Google to not put that stuff on there?
No.
Okay.
I wish I had a better answer for you, but yeah, I would say just make sure, like, check that setting. It might be, and Facebook's tricky, you know, like Facebook, I feel like Google does what they want, but Facebook does what they want in like a tricky way, like a sneaky way.
Right, because in order for the people in the group to share it amongst themselves, you have to change a setting, which then could have easily turned it into public.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and depending on the privacy or the visibility level of the group itself, that could have done it.
All right,
so yeah,
I'll double check.
Yeah. I mean, all of these things on here, it's like there are certain things that you get to populate and they show up. There are other things you populate and it's just for Google to use behind the scenes. And then there's all of the other stuff that they pull in from other places on the web, like their Etsy reviews and stuff. And so it's just a matter of kind of playing the long game and making sure that, you know, your business name is consistent across all of those things. And eventually it's going to show up there.
Okay. Thank you. This is
show up.
Right. Well, this has been really helpful. I appreciate your time.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us. Hi, Jones.
Jones has been intently listening.
Yeah? You gonna set up your Google business page?
Yeah.
Is he eating with a fork or a spoon?
He's trying. He likes to hold on to it, but he's not quite coordinated enough.
Aww.
Hi. Where's Willa?
She's at home with her dad, probably getting ready to go to bed.
Yeah, right?
Oh, I can't wait to get these two little ones together.
So in your last email, you said Willa is a wild woman, and I'm like, this kid gets wilder every day. I don't even know how, but he does.
It's crazy. It really is just like nuts. She's like bumping her head on stuff and falling down, and like it's so sad. You're like, oh, you kind of did that, you know? Like it's true what they say, like babies are just like drunk adults. You just watch them just like
His hell is when he like literally just falls over for no reason. I'm like, and it's bedtime or nap time. I don't care what you say.
Yep. That's always how I know like Willa's ready for bed, is because she'll fall over when normally she just get up and toddle around again. And she falls over and like screams like her legs cut off. It's like, all right.
One time, Remy, this is breezy. One time, Remy fell asleep like standing up. Like we were watching TV downstairs, and then like all of a sudden she like hit the pavement. And then we're like, oh my God, were you just asleep? And she just like sort of stood up like, whoa, what just happened? Oh my God.
It's so funny, like watching on the baby monitor, the ways that like the position she falls asleep in. Like she'll like sit up in her crib and then apparently fall asleep because she's like her head's between her knees, but she's asleep. They're so funny.
Oh, so cute.
Funny little ones.
Wild kid. Yeah.
Is he talking?
He says, no. And he can say, we have a leopard gecko whose name is Taco. And so he'll go, Taco. It was like Taco for a while, but now it's Taco. Taco. Where's Taco? Where's Taco? Taco's upstairs. He doesn't know. Anyway, we have loud music in the background, so I will mute myself again.
Oh, it's so funny. Willa's got 2 words so far that she'll say. She'll say "ga," which is Garth, our dog, and she recently started saying pineapple, but she just says Nini. She loves pineapple. She loves her some Nini. So I don't know if that counts as a word or not, but it's like something she says and we're like, oh, she wants pineapple. So yeah, and she doesn't like the canned kind. I was like, all right, we're in lockdown. I can't be fresh pineappling. It's not shelf stable. And gave her a can of stuff and she was like, nope. Oh, he's a cutie.
Of course, he like loves my hands to be in his mouth when I don't know when the last time is that I washed that.
Yep. They don't care.
You thirsty? No? Yep. Sass. Nope.
Alrighty, well, I'm gonna get off here and get home to my little one.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys for being here. It's nice to do this. This is my first time doing this workshop on Zoom, so it's nice to get this out of the way and to do it in such a warm and cozy place with all my girls. And
Well, I'll share this. I'll figure out if I didn't stop recording it, so edit the end of this recording.
talking about Nini and Taco.